Welcome back. In heading sports, Fiji has been hit with another major blow after being confirmed out of the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow next year. This means Fiji will also miss the benefits of receiving the US $100,000 grant for preparations. But as Vashnil Prasad reports, ONOC has been handed the task to control the administrative side of the Pacific Island countries participating in the Games.
It's now confirmed Fiji is out of the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow next year. Despite a strong appeal to the Commonwealth Games Federation, the decision has been handed down, denying local sports their second consecutive Commonwealth Games.
The participation in Glasgow next year is conditional on Fiji being readmitted to the Commonwealth. My understanding is that has been deferred until after Fiji's elections. So at this stage, unless our elections are brought forward, Fiji will not be taking part in Glasgow.
Strong medal contenders, our Fiji Sevens side also losing out. This now sees 11 other Pacific countries flying their flag at the Games next year, which will surely give them the much needed exposure.
Fiji were there, I'm pretty sure we would have, the country would have had a large team because we have the team sports, the rugby sevens, bowls and things like that.
For now, local sports can only wait. ONOC has been handed the task to control the administrative side of the Pacific Island countries.
Now we're just liaising with the countries and with the organising committee in Glasgow just to finalise where in the village people will be staying and just trying to finalise the medical spaces and things like that.
Each participating country has been handed around 200,000 Fijian dollars to prepare for the Commonwealth Games. Papua New Guinea looks to have the largest contingents of around 100 athletes and officials.
They're using that money to actually get their teams ready and prepare for the Games.
But for now, local sports will have to wait for another 5 years, even more time to prepare for the next Commonwealth Games. Vashnil Prasad, Fiji One News.
The Fiji Football Association is urging all districts to conduct its annual general meeting in January next year to allow for smooth running of the 2014 football calendar. Districts are to hold their AGM by mid-January and submit their reports including financials to Fiji FA by the end of January. This is to allow Fiji FA to make recommendations and kick off the new season on time.
We are requesting the district associations to take things seriously now and start preparing. Compliance of our regulations is important. We are requesting the district associations to have their annual general meeting done in January and submit to their annual report and the financial report, audited financial report, approved by the AGM to Fiji FA by end of January.
Oldham scored 4 second-half goals to beat Mansfield and set up an FA Cup third-round tie with Liverpool, whom they beat at that stage last season. The hosts were ahead at the break after Ross Dyer headed home from 6 yards, but they failed to keep the momentum in the second half as they lost 4-1.
Philiskirk and Mella look to be the contenders for Oldham. It's Philiskirk! The Mansfield wall was left very redundant by the quality of the free kick. Rooney. That's a good ball forward towards Smith. Petrasso. Clark Harris is onside. A very well-made goal. Petrasso with the assist. And that's a very sharp finish for his 4th goal of the season. Philiskirk with the corner, and that's a great header! A classic set piece. And nobody picked up Matteo Lanzoni. And the arm did seem to move towards the ball. Sends Oldham to Anfield.
Super Rugby franchise the Auckland Blues have already started with their training. Locked in the pre-season run before Christmas, the players have been made to show their worth, including new recruit Benji Marshall. He is likely to feature in the new side in 2014 at first 5.
Running, running, more running. And when the Blues hit the wall, extra running. For well over an hour, hitting time targets as well.
32, well done!
But in heat close to 30 degrees, they're closely monitored, including wearing live heart rate monitors.
We had a few people in the red today. We've had a few people in the red in the last couple of weeks. And so we've been able to tweak and pull people out if we think that it's a factor in the heat.
The bigger players are losing nearly 5 kilograms every session. then rehydrating to replace the sweat and toil.
And this time of year is always pretty tough, probably mentally and physically. You just got to turn up each day and then give your best and get through the day and then front up the next day.
In his first proper pre-season in 5 years, another new recruit is now part of the furniture. The coaching staff are leaning towards game time at first 5.
Benji's position become any clearer?
I think he wants to play 10. So we'll certainly look at that. I keep saying we're not in a rush. You know, we want Benji to stay a long time.
A showdown against troubled Wallaby star Kurtley Beale in a pre-season game against the Waratahs in Sydney early February is now on the cards. Marshall's now 5 kilos lighter than when he played rugby league.
I started off with a bit of kicking on my own, you know, getting a feel for the difference between a rugby ball and a league ball, and enjoyed that part of it.
Punting?
Yeah, quite a bit, and goal kicking a bit. So, yeah, I've watched a lot of video. To be honest, I'm sick of watching video. I just want to get into it.
Benji Marshall won't have to wait too long for rugby-specific training. That starts in 2 weeks after the Christmas break.
Fiji National Rugby League has finally accepted the challenge to play Samoa as a qualifying match for the Four Nations next year. This is after Fiji Bati filed a complaint after reaching the semi-finals in the Rugby League World Cup last month. FNRL wrote a letter regarding their concern but have not received a reply from the parent body as yet. The Fiji Bati versus Samoa match will be played on May 4th next year. The venue is yet to be decided.
We've just been told after the semi-final at the Rugby League World Cup that the competition is owned by Australia, New Zealand and England, and we are liaising with the contact person to try and express our disappointment and also our intention that we play in the Four Nations. However, we've come to a point that we've decided, okay, we'll play. The Vodafone Fiji Bati is confirmed to play the Toa Samoa on the 4th of May, and venue is to be decided.
It's taken 10 months, but we can finally see some movement on the sport's doping allegations in the Trans-Tasman. The Cronulla Sharks League team is facing a hefty $1 million fine for breaking the code of conduct. Already the Cronulla coach has been suspended for 1 year.
Sharks captain Paul Gallen was throwing punches on this side of the Tasman at the weekend, but today his club has been dealt a weighty blow by the NRL.
I have today issued a breach notice against the club, which includes the proposed penalty of $1 million.
In February, it was revealed 6 clubs were being investigated by ASADA for doping infringements, but the NRL launched a separate investigation specifically into Cronulla's supplement program in 2011, a program the NRL now says seriously failed to safeguard the health and welfare of players.
A number of players were injected with substances, the precise nature of which, to this day, remain unknown by people without proper medical qualifications to do so.
One of those, former trainer Trent Elkin. He's been provisionally deregistered for at least 2 years. Current head coach Shane Flanagan suspended for a year. The NRL says at this stage other clubs are off the hook.
We understand the processes that they go through and policies and things that they have in place. And based on where we are today, our focus has been very much on, obviously, Cronulla.
The club has until January 15th to make submissions on the findings.
We will not accept practices that put our players at risk.
It's also put players at risk of individually violating the doping code. ASADA's investigation into this is ongoing and 14 2011 Sharks have been interviewed.
The Navosa Netball Club has revived its yearly competition, and already it promises to be bigger and better than in previous years. The club, which has produced some netball stars in recent years, believes their players have been left out when it comes to national representation. The first 24 teams only from the highlands of Navosa will be allowed to take part in the 2-day competition. That will be played on January 15th and 16th.
Just to have this tournament, Greenman Netball Tournament on the 15th and 16th of January at Dryburgh Grounds will give us more exposure and talents. At the same time, we'll be looking at the potential players like tall defenders and shooters. Winner gets $500 and runners-up get $200. Losing semi-finalists will get $75 each and the best player gets $50.
The Nandi women's cricket team was out polishing their final moves on the green at Albert Park today. This is in preparation for the upcoming national women's competition this weekend. A different format will be played this year. Nandi officials are already anticipating tough challenge from other teams. Alongside Nandi, Lomeri will also be fielding a team of young players.
For them, I don't know, their team, maybe some new players like us, and we are looking forward to play against the other teams.
A 13-member squad will be selected after the tournament to compete at Cricket Fiji's underage tournament next year. This will also prepare a base of female cricketers with depth eligible for selection for the 2015 Pacific Games in Port Moresby.
I think this is the only country which we have the young age. For the others, like PNG, there are maybe most of them they are over 20. But for Fiji, we have some 16, 14 years old. So we need to teach them these sports.
Lomeri and Suva will play the first game of the tournament when it kicks off on Friday morning. Australia have regained the Ashes after sealing a deserved 150-run win over England in Perth to take an impregnable 3-0 lead in the 5-match series. Michael Clarke's men took the final 5 wickets they needed by early afternoon on the final day.
In the air, and that's it! That's it! After 4 long years, the most famous trophy in world cricket returns to Australia.
England's Ben Stokes led England's brave resistance with 120 off 195 balls as the second gamer notched the tourists' first century of the series. But it was too late for them to secure a win.
It's at the body, he's got it away! He's got it! The young Englishman, the first of the tour, lights it up at the whacker.
Ah, that's great. Well done.
The Black Caps are facing new injury concerns 2 days out from their last cricket test against the West Indies for the year. All-rounder Corey Anderson is waiting on a scan result after suffering an injury. But that's nothing compared to West Indies' Shane Shillingford, who's been banned for illegal bowling.
Feeling the heat today, the West Indies searching for answers after having their best bowler banned by the ICC.
It's all a disappointment for us, but we realise it's very important for us to focus on the test match starting in a couple of days' time. You know, we need to win this test match, and we know we don't have Shane, but we're going to do it for him.
Shane Shillingford has already bamboozled New Zealand in this test series. Now he's suspended indefinitely for a suspect action. Part-time twirler Marlon Samuels also on notice. Despite the setbacks, Richie Richardson says his team won't quit.
At the end of the day, what are you going to do, just lie down and take a beating? I certainly don't believe in that. You know, I mean, I believe in bouncing back. That's how you show your true character.
Shillingford stayed at the team's Hamilton Hotel today instead. All eyes on his likely replacement, Sunil Narine, the man who skittled the Black Caps in the Caribbean 12 months ago. The spinner taking 12 wickets in a 2-test drubbing of the Black Caps. Though New Zealand believe the grassy Seddon Park surface mightn't offer him much help anyway.
Generally, it's a good place for swing bowling. We obviously hope it's similar to the Basin and we can get another win there.
Late call-up Jimmy Neesham also enjoying his first taste of the setup, and though relations are clearly on good terms between the captains, it's the New Zealand hierarchy who look ready to have the last laugh.
Team Fiji has to be represented well across the board if it is to excel in the next mini-games in Port Moresby. And one way to help them do that is to have more local competitions. Athletics Fiji says with the right format and structure, come 2015, Fiji should expect a much better performance.
And not only that, we are also working towards helping the other events that we are not so well represented with, in, for example, long distance and also field events. Part of the work is to help our sports administrators to be able to understand their role in the part they play towards the general goal that we are achieving, to increase the level of participation, increase the level of competition, and also be able to send athletes that can represent Fiji well.
Stay with us for World News from CNN after the break.